I need to figure it out, because if she does believe in divorce and remarriage, that is not gonna work too well with me.
This is where I'm embarrassed because I went to his church in the morning to visit. So our mutual friend went to the church where he was going. And at no point, I just want to start this here, at no point did the fact that he had sons ever occur to me as a problem to this day.
Welcome to our podcast.
This is a space we've created with love, a place where real people can share their healing journeys without fear or shame. Through honest conversation and deep connection, we hope to reveal that no story is too messy or too far gone for God's grace. We're passionate about exposing cultural blind spots, sharing truth with compassion, and glorifying God as the ultimate healer. His love on the cross conquered all, and that changes everything. Hey everyone, we are so excited to be back with you all after a longer break. And this is the only time in history when 1 plus 1 equals 3. We are excited to have our little guest host on the show today. Michaela Janie Ladio joined us September 8th at 1:52 in the morning. And here she is. We're all healthy and safe and happy to be home.
Amen. I'm hoping to make a video about that experience on the other channel. That'll be cool. Stay tuned. I'll link it. Anyways, were you done?
Thing. And today we are telling our love story, our doozy of a God-written love story, and it's just a testimony of what happens when everyone says no and God says yes, and that love wins in the end. Love conquers all.
Not everyone said no. You and I said yes.
I said no a couple times though.
From day one. Yeah, whatever. You were forced
My
to say
mouth
no.
said no. My head said yes.
We should probably tell that in the story that we are trying to do here.
We definitely will.
Yes. Anyways, I'll start right away. Before that, I guess I should say thanks for being here again. Keep us in your prayer. And yeah. So how it all started, I was living in the little trailer in Bethel, and I remember friends from Iowa were visiting us because there was a wedding. Their cousins was getting married on October 28th, and we went on a hike in the morning. That was a Saturday morning before the wedding. We got up early and took a hike, and remember them and two other couples that were struggling with infertility. And I remember saying to them as we were going up the hill, we should really pray, and fast, and with focus, and a bunch of people, and just yeah, really really press on, praying that the God would just make him do a miracle in all three of you guys, couples, and bless you with babies, which two of them, thank God, have had babies, and beautiful babies. But yeah, I remember saying that, and I was saying, like, it's just sad that I can believe those miracles, that God can bless you guys with babies, but I cannot believe a miracle in my life. And I remember my friend's wife saying, what is that miracle that you want in your life? And she's like, let me guess. And sure enough, she knew what I was trying to talk about, because at this point I was really wanting to be in a relationship and just having my own family, a godly family finally. And so yeah, she said that and whatever, and we'll be praying for you, or she said. And yeah, we went on our hike, then we went to the wedding. Ironically enough, we were all there sitting at the wedding. It was me, my friend, his wife, and in front of his wife, across the table, and the other in front, the reception. Yeah, there was somebody sitting in front of her, talking to her, and me and my friend here, we were like whispering about this lady.
And I was so oblivious. I could not have been more innocent.
Yeah, except you put your eyes on me first, just so we can know this.
My eyes fell upon you accidentally.
And you said that it was my gray hair. But anyways, you probably wanted to say your story about that morning.
Well, that morning was very different for me than it was for Juan. I did not know the couple that was getting married. The only reason that I was at the wedding was to look out for one of my then special needs students. I was working at the care center for special needs children, and she was invited to the wedding, and her parents asked me if I would go along to look after her. And so I was like, sure. I didn't have anything going that Saturday. So that's why I was at the wedding. So that's just to me is direct leading from God. Nothing that I could have or he could have staged or directed. God led me to the care center, and then he used the care center to open the next door in my life. So I was lying in bed that morning with a splitting headache, and I texted one of my friends and I said, I'm lying here in bed with a splitting headache, wishing either to die or fall in love, neither of which seems likely. And she was very kind and sympathetic. Anyway, I got up, I made it to the wedding, and I vaguely remember this brown dude walking down the center of the aisle and giving the usher a hug. And I have no clue why it stuck out to me, except that typically at Mennonite weddings, you don't just hug an usher in front of God and everybody.
Yeah. Which that usher was the same guy that I went on a hike with him and
Exactly.
his wife.
And I
Yeah.
guess that's the only reason it stuck out to me. And I was, um, I was gonna say I was very Mennonite at that point. I still had a lot of Mennonite expectations that I no longer have, um, and so I guess it just stuck out to me as something odd. But like I only remembered that like a long time after, realized that it was the same guy. So yeah, we're at the wedding and then go to the reception, and I'm sitting across from this lovely individual, and we start like sharing heart to heart. And I never met her before in my life, and I had no clue that two people down on the opposite side of the table was this dude. The only thing that I remember about Juan from the wedding was seeing this brown guy sitting down the table, and I thought he had sparkles in his hair. That was the only thought I gave him. And I was just like, apparently weird brown guy vibes. And yeah, didn't think about him at all after that. But apparently he and his friend were sitting down there evaluating me, and I was blissfully innocent.
Now evaluating, but yeah, we were looking at you, and well, I was. He
It's
was
what you call
just
an evaluation.
was because he was he was throwing his ear to the conversation that his wife was having with you, and I guess he probably heard good things or whatever, and then he thought,
Well, like we were
what about
deep. We
her?
were talking about our pasts and our
Yeah.
childhoods and counseling.
And interestingly enough, I did have my eyes on you by at that point, and should we continue to what happened after?
Sure.
Yeah. So the
Well,
next,
duh.
the next step was, so the next big thing was that's the same evening. Uh, the wedding, the people at the wedding, especially the youth, had a volleyball game, and we have a mutual friend that at that point that we were I texted. I was like, hey, I don't know if I should go. Do you think she's like, yeah, you should come. It'll be nice. Um, and obviously the main reason why I wanted to go was because of hoping that this lady was gonna be there too. And so I was like, let me just get up and go. Saturday after evening that I was just laying in bed relaxing, and sure enough, I went. And
Which was a lucky stroke of luck. A lucky stroke of luck.
yeah,
It's
that's
redundant.
yeah.
It was a lot more than luck, but that evening, if I remember correctly, you had also been considering going to like a big singles gathering
Mm-hmm.
with a lot of other people.
Yeah, that
So it was like, do you go there or do you go here? And so now the spirit just kind of led you to volleyball.
I think somebody signed me out to that single gathering through my email, and I actually never went to any other gatherings. But that was the first time I was gonna go to one, and I decided to not go
That was a
instead.
close call.
Yeah, instead of that going to, which I think in that single group there's somebody that you are very familiar with, or was, because now that person is married. But um, so yeah, I went to the youth, and I get there and I'm looking around like, that's sad. Seems like she didn't come. Oh well, I guess I just play volleyball now and enjoy the evening now that I'm here.
That was big of you.
Yeah, but then surprisingly enough, 15 minutes. I had it all timed. 15 minutes after being there, playing whatever. And I know all this youth, of course. I was having a good time. But things got so much better 15 minutes later because I see you walk in front door.
And I almost didn't come because I was tired and I didn't really know the people that were going to be at the volleyball game. And so, yeah, I kind of got myself together late and just kind of walked in there awkwardly and didn't have any expectations. At first, I thought you couldn't speak English, so I was scared to talk to you. And whenever we would number off for volleyball, like we'd all say our numbers like 1, 2, and you'd always say them in Spanish, except for you'd say them with the worst English accent ever. You'd be like uno, dos, tres. And I was just like, who or what is this individual? But then we got beside each other in a couple games, and you could actually play volleyball really well, and it was
And
kind
speak
of fun.
English
And
pretty
you,
well. Yeah.
you actually could.
You're like, oh,
I
so he's good.
discovered, yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, maybe, do you have any more you wanted to share? Or,
No, I think we started to, kind of like throw indirect words at each other. Especially me, I was being a little sarcastic and trying
oh, you
to.
were trying to impress me. I knew you were being sarcastic, but
Well, I guess I would be impressed. Yes.
it worked.
Yeah, it did a little bit.
So we had our mutual friend was there at the volleyball game, and she saw us starting to vibe, and she started putting things together. So anyway, she comes to talk to me, and she's like, "Hey, there's this guy here. His name is Juan. Like I saw you guys are enjoying playing beside each other. Like he's got 2 kids. He's a really cool guy. Blah blah blah. Can I give you his phone number? Can I give him your phone number?" And that sort took me out of the blue. But I was like, well, why not? I'm an adult. He looks like a chill guy. Whether or not anything comes out of this, we can like be friends, right?
Which you never actually did that before. Just casually give your number
I did
to.
not give my number out to people
Yeah.
ever. And so then our mutual friend goes over to him and she's like, hey, there's this girl, Hannah. Like, I see that you guys are vibing. And she said I can give you her phone number.
Or give, yeah, anyways, that's how that kind of went down. And so I was excited, but I was at the same time little like awkward. I'm like, this is kind of like too obvious. You're talking to me right in front of, or right where she can see you talking to
I
me.
definitely remember seeing her go over to you and
Yeah.
talk, and I'm just like eyeballs bulging. But
And
still, I feel like both of us did pretty well at being chill.
kind of, yeah, now make it a big deal,
I
awkward.
think it felt very surreal to both of us because this stuff just doesn't happen. I mean, it
Yeah,
definitely didn't happen to me ever before, and I really wasn't looking for a relationship.
right.
Like, I mean, obviously, I guess that morning I said I'd either die or fall in love. But I think I
Yeah.
was being sarcastic.
No,
Obviously, I was being sarcastic.
that Saturday was pretty good. Like you said, surreal. It was a lot of set of events. Because I mean, the way that Saturday ended with our conversation, that was really amazing. Because so I was one of the oldest, if not the oldest, at the volleyball game. So I was being given the duty to close this place that I don't even know. I never been there before, but yeah, I was supposed to make sure everybody leave safely, and then I can close. And sure enough, I was the last one, including you. Everybody left.
Yeah, I wanted to be helpful.
Yeah.
Help you like put the balls away.
Yes, my friend.
We had started. Somehow the volleyball game kind of ended, and there were still a lot of people. I had like walking around throwing balls to each other, and somehow like we
Football,
started
yeah.
throwing a football.
Yeah.
And it turned out that I could actually throw a football better than you could.
Whatever. We don't have to.
Actually, not really.
No, you did. You did. I was trying to supposedly show her how to do it, and here happened that, of course, as an American, she could throw it better than I could.
Except for some reason, he kept throwing it way above my reach, so I had to.
Yeah,
Jump
do the
madly.
girly jump, and I was like, oh, that looks cute. But anyways, where will we go from here?
Then somehow like I was helping to clean up, and everybody left, and it was just you and me.
Well, yeah, our mutual friends was also in charge, her and her brother, to be the last one there cleaning up and closing with us. And they all left, including both of them. Yeah, and just you and I stay there.
To lock out. We had this stupid key
Yeah.
that you had to like lock the building and then you had to lock the key in this
Mm-hmm.
little compartment.
Slot, yeah, and outside the building in a box, lock box, and it wasn't working, so we had to keep trying. And at this point, we're just there standing.
Standing awkwardly by this like little
Yeah,
key box trying to put the key away. And it sprung into a conversation.
yeah. More conversation. We spent about an hour after that
I
talking
think so.
in the
Yeah.
middle of the night.
It was the craziest experience of my life, and it was nothing that I ever thought was possible. I was not the kind of individual who just got crushes, like hung out with guys and had feelings for them. And then I meet this guy, and everything feels completely different than any relationship I've ever had before. And I was very skeptical of this thing of love at first sight, and fuzzy love emotion, falling in love. Like I didn't believe that was a thing. I was just very um, factual, and you do all the rules, and then love is a verb, and yeah, not a feeling. Uh, and so yes, this was just extremely foreign to me. And I just remember leaving, or I was just about ready to drive away from where we had played volleyball. Was in my car, he was in his, and I'm sitting in my car thinking, what just happened? Is this real? Like, is he actually interested in me? But wait, he's got kids. How, when, where? Anyway, and then he comes driving up, and I roll down my window, and he's just like, "Hey,
The
just
squirrel.
curious." Oh, the squirrel. I need to
Yeah,
I need to throw the squirrel part in.
yeah. I was like, hey, just want to make sure you don't have any squirrels in your car because you left the sunroof completely open.
And I'm like,
And I know they like to, which I guess I was kind of dumb because squirrels don't be hanging out in the middle of the night. Uh, but I was like, oh, make sure. But I had a story friend that had a squirrel that jumped inside the van
so it
as
was
the van was
possible.
closing the
Let's
door.
just say you were using it for an excuse to say
Yeah.
what you wanted to say next.
And
So yeah, then he
yeah,
comes driving up to my window, and he's like, "Yeah, just curious. What do you believe about divorce
and remarrying,
and
yeah.
yeah, and your marriage?" And I'm just like, "Where did this question come from? I've only just met this guy. Like, what context?" And I was like, "Well, what do you believe about it?" And he said, "Well, I believe God's plan is one man and one woman for life." And I was like, "Well, absolutely, I believe that too." And he's like, "Okay, have a good night," and he drove off.
I think didn't I say like, oh, and I think right before I left, I was like, hey, I think I said, yeah, I've never been married,
Yes,
didn't I?
you did. I
Yes.
forgot about that part. Yeah, so he just wanted to like confirm
And
to me
I,
because I knew he had kids at this point, and he's just like, "Yeah, I'm not married." And our mutual friend had told me that he wasn't married, and at no point, I just want to insert this here. At no point did the fact that he had sons ever occur to me as a problem to this day. That was one of the hugest things that I received criticism and concerns about, was he has sons. And to this day, it is one of the most natural, beautiful parts of our relationship, and I wouldn't have it any different.
and yeah, at that point also, it was like the biggest, how's it called, representation or sign of how gracious and not judgmental, I would say, person you were. And I was like, wow, she's different. She's beautiful. And at that point, I was just like hooked. Never wanted to have you out of my life again. um,
I smiled the whole way home that night, and I took a selfie to prove it because I just had this big cheesy grin blasted on my face, and I couldn't get it off, and it just felt so weird.
yeah,
We both.
maybe we can put it on the video there. So it's a good. Yeah, I should put a few photos. But yeah, we were really excited. We couldn't sleep. That's what you were gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the reason I ask, what do you believe about divorce and remarriage? To be honest, was not so much to tell you that I was never married, but to find out if you were okay with that, because I need to figure it out. Because if she does believe in divorce and remarriage, that is not gonna work too well with me. So I wanted to make sure that you were not just a liberal, wild. living the plain beliefs, or yeah. Well, anyways, I've seen wild girls in the plain community that I'm
Kind of
sure
believes anything that is cool.
yeah,
Or yeah.
I'm sure sleeping around and all kinds of stuff,
Mhm.
very promiscuous and yeah, flirty.
So one other of the big questions that we covered that night was our age difference. So our mutual friend, when she talked to me, she's like, "Yeah, this guy is 36." Never phased me. Honestly, still doesn't phase me. But I was considerably younger than that. And so we're standing out in the parking lot talking after we close up the volleyball barn, and he wonders how old I am, and I say, "Guess," and he's like, 28. Wasn't it 28?
27, 28,
Yeah.
I said. Between 26 to 28, I think is what I said.
I'm like, actually, I'm 23. And he's like, oh.
Yeah, that was a punch. So I was 36.
So we had a 13-year age gap. And he's
Yeah,
like,
that's a big one.
oh man, I'm robbing the cradle.
No, not quite, but it was a big difference. So yeah, that was tough.
But it wasn't ever tough for me. And you have such a fresh, young spirit and always will.
Mm-hmm.
That,
Always will.
but yeah, our age difference was never a problem for me. Um, I never was super attracted to guys that were like younger than me or my age. I always felt like they were just, a little immature. Um, and to have the stability of someone who had experienced more of life than I have was very, provided a lot of security for me. It still does.
Yep, yepers. So yeah, that was October 28th. In a little bit,
2023.
in a few more days, 3 weeks probably, it's gonna be 2 years since that. Uh, so in less than 2 years, we have this beautiful lady. But yeah, the next day, so that night, obviously, I was not able to sleep. I slept very little because I was just dreaming and wondering, like, no, this is. But yeah, but no, 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 nah, definitely not. Maybe yeah, yeah, yeah. I was just like, is what is happening? So yeah, the next day we met again because you decided to go to.
This is
Not decided.
this
You
is
were
this
kind
is
of
where I'm embarrassed
yeah.
because I went to his church in the morning to visit. So our mutual friend went to the church where he was going, and I had not slept the night before, and so by the time I got up, I was it was way too late for me to go to my church because my church I had to drive a ways, and yeah, it was just too late. And so she's like, "Well, just come to our church," and I'm like, "Well, I honestly like, what other church could I go to?" And I'm sure if I thought hard enough, I could have found one, or I could have just stayed home. But I'm like, oh, like he was sort of sweet, and she had been texting Juan. She knew that he was like really into this, and I knew that I was kind of into this, and so I'm like, what could it hurt? Like at least I could see him. So yeah. So I went to his church, and like I walk in, and he leans front and like waves. um, and yeah, we kind of ended up like talking afterwards.
Well, yeah, we were. Our friend was kind of continuing to do her part. um, Kind of like way too obvious, and she told me that yeah, she's not doing much after the church. You should take her out to for coffee and talk to her. And I was like, oh, that would be nice. I would love to hear more about her because even though we spoke for a few hours that night, I can still speak some more or hear more. And sure enough, I guess we had our numbers. We exchanged number at that time, right?
We
And I
exchanged
yeah,
numbers the
and I
night
asked
before.
you, yeah. So I asked you, what are you doing? And so sure enough, right after church, we went um to a coffee shop.
He meets me on the steps at church, and he's like, yeah, like being all casual and so scared. And he's like, you want to go out for snacks? And I'm thinking, snacks? Like I thought it's lunchtime. Like we go get chips. Found out recently that snacks to my not recently, found out shortly thereafter that snacks to Juan means anything you can put in your mouth, chew, and swallow.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter what time of the day or night or how large or small the meal is.
food or drink or whatever. Yep.
Yeah.
And sure enough, you accepted it, which at this
What a
point,
shocker.
yeah, right. I have to clarify to you guys that to me that's not asking anyone out on a date. I know date means go out and talk, and man, now I'm contradicting myself. I think I am.
Your postpartum dad, maybe?
Yeah, like lack of sleep, the brain. Um, Wait, now it is making sense to me.
I was right. We did have a date.
It was a date, but now okay. So here's what
Just
I call.
real commitment.
Yeah, it was. This is where the problem keeps
This was our
happening.
first disagreement, and it will. Well, it sounds like we just agreed on it though, so maybe our first disagreement
Part
has
of it,
resolved.
yeah. Wow, right in the middle of the podcast. So I always Hannah said this is that was the first time I asked her out, and I'm like, I asked you to go out to eat something and just talk, and it was basically just a coffee. I don't think we wanted to eat, and that's why we did. We just both ordered a coffee, and we did not eat anything because we were too
We didn't
excited.
even get snacks.
No,
We got beverages.
our stomachs were just not into any food, and but to me, it's just like out to talk
So yeah, like, we're
conversation.
sitting there at the
It's
table
not,
with our coffee, and me, blunt and to the point, I'm just like, okay, so why did you ask me out?
yeah, because to Hannah, asking out meant on a date, which a date
Well,
meant.
asking out meant commitment because one thing I did not do with random people was just go out for coffee. I had a couple close guy friends that it was nothing romantic at all. That sometimes we would go out for coffee, but I didn't just meet someone and go out for coffee. I was not interested in any kind of casual dating or like if I was serious enough about you to go out for coffee, I wanted to make sure you were serious enough about me and that this wasn't just something random that you thought up overnight. And even I
Yeah,
guess in your case it was.
yeah. Well, I wasn't sure. Like, I mean, I could have.
But yeah.
Yeah, if I guess for my culture, I could have talked to you for a while before
Yeah.
we could say, hey, should we get into a relationship or not?
Basically, I just wanted to know your level of commitment. And poor Juan, poor Dominican Juan sitting there just gets whopped over the head. We're sitting down. I'm just like, kaboom, why are we here?
I know that was quite a hard question to me. And she's like, "So what do you ask me? What do you want? What are you looking for?" I'm like, wow, that was direct and quick and way too blunt.
Let's just say his answer was anything but direct and quick and blunt. He took an entire hour to get around to saying, well, I'm kind of like you. Like,
Yeah, I am obviously looking for a wife and all that stuff, and I took an hour to get the wife word out of my mouth because I just kept saying a bunch of this with a bunch of that, all things that that make sense and were in my heart, and I wanted you to somehow understand that they were truthful stuff. And I'm thankful that you did take them as truthful stuff because they were.
we found out that even though our experiences in life could not have been much more different, the ways that we had come to believe were very, very similar on almost every subject.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
quite every, but close.
Right. It did definitely feel like such a deep, beautiful connection that we had. That I don't know. It was just amazing.
Yeah, pretty much what it was is never met before and then met and we're best friends
But yeah,
for the rest of our lives.
yeah. Which is where we did. Yeah, like she said, we left they closed the coffee shop, so we went out. We sat on her car for a few more for about an hour, and
In all, we talked for about 5 hours.
yes, it was about 5 hours, and yeah, that's where you heard her say, I think in our introduction video, that
So we did our little pinky prayer.
yeah, the pinky prayer, because I knew that in the plane community there's supposed to be some people do hands off, and we'll talk more about that. We didn't do that. I guess giving you an insight to the rest of the conversation.
Juiciness.
Yeah, right. So that's with our first physical contact. What? We had a two little
You
fingers.
shook my hand the night before.
You're right. Yes, because I try to be polite like that.
Good boy.
Yeah. So I think. Anyways, we don't have to get into that. But the community is lacking on shaking hands and saying hi to each other. But whatever. So we did that prayer, and that's how this all started.
Mm.
So
And the connection from that point on was crazy, and I'm not able to explain it to anyone. I just know that it was very, very real for me, and it continues to be so. Because the experiences, what we went through after that, the level of grief that we felt when we weren't allowed to be together does not match the very short amount of time that we knew each other. So my only explanation for that is when two people are supposed to be together and God brings them together. Um,
it's obvious.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Nothing can really get in the way.
Right.
That because that's nothing really got in the way.
Mm-hmm. So at this point, I'm just so ridiculously happy. I just felt like I met somebody extraordinary and very special, which I had. But my next step was I wanted my family, particularly my dad's blessing, and I think that I was I was so happy that I wasn't even thinking logically, because looking back, I'm like, that was an impossible thing to ask for. However, it was really important to me, and it still is, because I really loved my family, and whoever I bring into the family isn't just going to be my husband, it's going to be their son in law, their brother in law. And I respected that. So my next step was to go home Monday evening and talk to my parents. And I had a couple of my siblings that I had invited as well. And I started off the conversation with, like, when you imagine me being married, like, what kind of guy do you imagine for me? Um, and yeah, the premise that I asked that off of was just not even logical, because I had already made church choices that they couldn't bless. And so of course, their dream guy for me would have been an Eastern Mennonite, or at least a very, very conservative one. And unfortunately, the guy that I had in mind didn't check any of the boxes of the guy that they had in mind for me. So I start telling them about this Dominican guy who's 13 years older than me, has two kids, um, is not a member at a Mennonite church, although he's been attending one for a while. Um, Pretty much everything that they didn't want to hear.
Yeah.
To make a long story short, the meeting, in quotes, ended in a mutual tear bath. Not a bloodbath, a tear bath.
Mutual. Also, yeah, you were crying
Pretty
too.
much everyone was bawling their eyes out. And Dad was like, I feel like it's my fault that you are getting into this relationship, because what if I didn't love you well enough and now you're just looking for just love anywhere? Um, and yeah, I don't know if I'd ever seen my dad cry quite like he did then. Um, yeah, I think some things got really real for him right then. Um, and yeah, my brother was crying. He's just like, yeah, Hannah, what are you doing with your life? You can't do this. And I was crying because I didn't know how I couldn't do this. There was such a strong confirmation in my mind that this was my person, and it wasn't something I could explain. And I honestly, if I had been in my family's shoes, I would have had the same concerns that they did. Um, and yes, the cultural thing was a big problem too. I have um, relatives in another country, and they have young girls, and they would say that they don't know if they would allow their girls to even, it's a Spanish country they're living in, they say they may not even allow their girls, maybe in a special circumstance they would, to marry a guy from the very mission that they are living at, because they're Spanish. And that those relatives were there that night, and they said Spanish guys can't be faithful to their wives. There's something in them that they are not able to be. They're like, we're there at the church, we have the most outstanding church members, and then you find out that they're living in immorality and sleeping around with somebody's wife. Like, you cannot trust the Spanish culture. And so that was one of the biggest things that evening. It's like, this guy already has two sons, and now you're just the new young chick on the block that he wants. And that was truly what they believed. They were not interested in meeting with him or talking with him. They just already had their stereotype, and this is who he was, and this is the choices Hannah is making that's going to ruin her life. And it was very, very hard for them. I was crying so hard on the way home. I called one of my friends and pulled over to the side because I couldn't even drive anymore. And he prayed with me, and um, that brought me enough calm that I was able to finish driving the hour home.
Mm. Yeah, that was tough. That was the next day. That would be, we have actually, by the way, a list
So we
of,
got our phones.
yeah, a list of dates because uh, it's a lot of crazy things happen after that.
And the next day, I talked to my spiritual dad, the one who had been there with me when I found Jesus. And I told him the story of Juan. And he was like, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I've seen cross cultural relationships fail. And I can't recommend this for you. But no matter what choice you make, I will love you. I really deeply respected this individual, and unless I didn't think I could ever have a relationship that he couldn't bless. And so, whenever I realized that he was not giving me his full blessing either, I didn't think I had a choice in the matter anymore. I did, the next day, I did talk to some of Juan's best friends, and they were very honest with me. I felt like it was a great conversation. I also called some other individuals that knew Juan vaguely.
Um,
um,
yeah, they were related with the church, involved with the church. Yeah.
yeah, and they did not give me a good report. Um, because he was not a member at the church. Basically, they said, we think Juan is a Christian. We have no basis to say that he's not. Like, he's showing us the fruits of the Spirit. He's a godly person, but he's not a member. He's not a Mennonite, and we jealously guard our Mennonite young girls, and we would never recommend him to one of them.
Mhm. Which actually, later in one of the times we were meeting and talking, she listened to a message from this person. She listened to that in front of me, or you played it for me, and
Just a little bit of it. I couldn't stand to listen to it
yeah,
anymore.
and that's when I was like, just like I always felt or thought, these people or this person or some people hold the Mennonite values or whatever you want to call that at the same level as Christianity,
Above Christianity.
above or the
They
same
said you were
level.
a Christian.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I would say to be more gracious at the same level. So you need to be a Christian, and you also need to be, um, yeah, Mennonite or whatever. And that's when I was like, oh man, this is just really devastating. Not it just makes me really sad because you don't need like. Anyways,
Well, like
you heard me say this before.
Dominican is a culture, Mennonite is a culture. You can't stick a Dominican who's been a Dominican all his life in a Mennonite culture for 2 years or 3 years, whatever it was, and demand that he adopt an entirely new culture.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Like, I feel like
I
that
was
was,
being pursued to be discipled, and I was okay
which
with
was
that.
something that you desired.
Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
was okay with that. I just didn't want to be, but I didn't do much of it because I was seeing this
Juan is
happening
very
that,
discerning with knowing people's spirits,
yeah,
and it didn't feel like a safe environment to be discipled in.
yeah, I was, I felt like it was being, they wanted to be, they wanted to indoctrinate me more than disciple me. And that's why I was like, I honestly, I just, there's only one that I want to submit under, and that's Christ. And of course, a biblical, zealous, gracious, beautiful pastor of a church that I go to.
Which later you were discipled, and we'll get to that.
Yeah,
You
but
pursued that.
I right. Anyways, I just don't like to submit to man-made stuff, and that's where I was like, I can't. I don't care how much it's gonna cost me. I'm not gonna go with this. I'll submit to anything biblical, nothing man-made. So the next day was um, November 2nd, Thursday. Oh, that's I don't like. So yeah, this is the one where I talked to the mentor that she talked to after she talked to her parents. Um, I talked to him in the morning. We went out bright and early in the morning and to a restaurant, and we talked. And he said the same thing that he's told you. You know how um, he feels like you were perhaps not ready to be in a relationship, and that um, that you this in a way he wanted. He said it. You know, he would like for you to just be with a another um, what's it called,
Virgin.
virgin, new uh, person, new man, not like me, because yeah, knowing that I had kids and stuff, and I would, you know, in a way, I put myself in those shoes, and as a dad, that he saw himself to Hannah, still does, yeah. He, I would put myself in those shoes. I'm like, mm, yeah, maybe I would like my daughter to go out with a new person that has never been with anybody and whatever. But at the same time, what?
I'd like to rephrase that. You were a new person. I know what you mean,
Yeah, right.
but I'm full of. I'm just all ready to debunk all those theories as soon as
Yeah,
you're done.
yeah. No, I was just sexually is mainly what I'm
Mm-hmm.
referring to. Yeah, but that's it was a good conversation, and that was the only part that I disagree with him. And I even told him like, hey, I understand and everything, but I'm gonna have to disagree with you there. The blood of Jesus, which I have been um, renewed by, and his sacrifice on the cross, um, cleanses us of all sins. I'm not proud that I been in other relationships, but I cannot change that. God did change it though. He doesn't hold it against me. You know, the consequences of those acts are there. But the forgiveness is also there. I'm completely forgiven.
Amen.
Amen. And I believe that in me, and to myself and to any others. And that I think that's a huge reason why I was so in the right shoes and willingness to pursue a relationship with you, because I felt like I'm not a loser. I lived so much for so long in believing that I thought it was, and that I thought I was, and at this point I'm like, this girl, I I feel ready. She's she's just amazing, and just meeting her was making creating such a change in me that it was beautiful. But yeah, we had that conversation, me and him, and I felt. Did you guys talk and decided? Yeah, one of the reason I talked to him was because you and him had talked and got to the conclusion that yeah, we're not gonna pursue anything.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you wanted me to talk to him so that he can help me understand a little bit better
Mm-hmm.
why, when, where. And then I went. Then you and I went met the same day
The same day
in
that you
the
talked to my
yeah
mentor. Yes.
in the evening after I got out of work.
So I don't remember exactly how that came about, but yeah. So we're gonna meet. We're gonna like basically talk. Like we're gonna talk things over, and we're gonna say goodbye. Like this
Yeah,
is the end.
yeah. I think I encourage that because I don't like.
It would have felt like a lot of
Yeah,
loose ends to
yeah,
just drop it and never talk again.
yeah. And I had a pretty bad experience with leaving things in the air through text, and so yeah, I felt like, hey, let's just talk. Let's just meet at the park. Uh, I brought my.
So we get to the park, and he comes with these discs for to play disc golfs, and I'm like, you want to play disc golf when my heart is in pieces over you? Like you think I'd actually have like I want to play? And he's just like, well, we're just let's just do this and be friends and act like nothing's wrong.
I was like, hey, let's just say what we gotta say and just have a good time playing this golf, and that's it. We'll leave it wherever we're gonna leave it, and we're done.
Whereas I was, and we both were very, very sad.
Right.
because
We were.
yeah, I was not. I didn't want to. I mean, I wanted to say yes, but I one principle I tried to rule my life by is never making a big decision until I have three key people in my life telling me that this is something I should do, and I didn't have those people
Mhm. Yeah, and so I see her sitting at the bench and
in the park.
at the park, and I was like, man, there she is. And then I show her the disc, and let's just play. Let's. She's like, I don't think I'm gonna be doing this. Like, oh, sure, sure, no problem. I just thought maybe I offer and just leave this in a good place because we had just beautiful times talking at the coffee shop and also at the volleyball. That hey, why would should we be awkward strangers, enemies because we cannot pursue a serious relationship. So let's just so that was a beautiful walk around the park, even though it was painful.
And he carried his discs the whole way.
Yeah. And so I think we you got out of the bench, we talked, we kept walking. So we sat at the first bench
And then we prayed. I
and
remember.
we prayed. Yeah. Oh, did we hold pinkies again? No.
I don't think we did.
Well, anyways, yeah. So, hey, let's just pray here. So we sat on the first bench and prayed, and then we knew that after the whole lap, I forget, it's 0.60 mile, so a little over half a mile. We knew that at that point it was gonna be over. So
It took a long
yeah,
time
it
to walk.
was. It's like we did not want that to
Stopped at
end.
every tree and pothole.
Yeah, yeah, but even then it was getting a little dark, so we went to.
But
But
you
before that,
missed one part.
yeah.
We're like 3/4 of the way done, and he pulls this wooden.
But yeah, we can. So well, I guess that's not too important. But we walked, we sat. It was cold. It was October. It was cold. Why? I don't know why. The end of October. So yeah, it was chilly. But yeah, we sat on the grass. We talked some. Then we were pushed away because people were playing. Some people were playing disc golf, and
Some people that weren't breaking up.
they're like, "Are you guys gonna be there too long?" And like, oops. So we get up. No, somebody else told us like, "Hey, there's people there that are waiting for you guys." So we get up and we keep walking, and yes, at some point here, in one of those nights after I met her, I I was pretty courageous and just poetic and amazing, and I decided to make two hearts, one heart, and cut it in half. I did it with my laser. I guess we're gonna have to put a picture on the video so because we don't have it with us, we'll show it later. But I made two hearts. I mean, one heart cut it in half.
It looked like a
Magnet.
puzzle piece in the
Yeah.
middle. So, and then he put a magnet in there so it would stick together.
Yeah.
So, and then he put like a tassel on each half. So yeah, it could come apart and go together again. He put. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, in one half I put my initials, and another half I put her initials. Um, which at that point I started calling her something different. So I put those initials, and then in the
Just a
back,
nickname.
yeah, nickname. And that in the back, uh I I wrote, "Let us go
Far and not fast.
far." Yes, let us go far and not far.
Not let us go far and not fast.
Fast. Sorry. Yes.
And that was because of a quote that I had told him when we met at the coffee shop. It was one of my favorite sayings. And it said, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Yes. Yes, that was why I put, hey, let me use that. And I said, let us go far and not fast, meaning let us go together, not separate.
So yeah, he gives me the half of the heart with, was it your initials or
My
mine?
initials.
With your initials on it. And he's just like, yeah, I made this for you, and I just want you to have it, like no strings attached or whatever. It's something for you.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I can't take that. I'm like breaking up with you. It felt like breaking up, and I always called it breaking up, even though we had never been dating. And
Yeah.
according to this guy, never actually had a date.
We never wear anything. Yes.
And I was just like, this is so cool. This is so sweet and so romantic. But I said, I am cutting ties. I cannot have any ties to you, because at this point I knew that emotionally, like, I was so into him that if I was to live my life without him, I had to completely shut that door. Like, no contact, nothing to remind me of him. And so I gave my half of the heart back to this sweet, romantic, creative guy who had spent a long time carefully crafting it.
Well, it
That
wasn't
had
a
to
long
feel
time.
horrible.
It wasn't a long time, but it felt bad, yeah, for but it made
I'm
sense.
sorry.
It's okay. Um, you still gave me your heart.
Not just half of it.
Yeah. There was two magnets that were very tiny, and you had to make it. They have to be obviously on the right ways. So that's besides the point. But yeah, it was fun. So the next day would have.
Well, that the day
Oh
isn't done.
no,
So
sorry.
it's,
Yes,
so we finished our round of the park finally, and it was getting dark, and
we felt like we didn't have everything out.
somebody wanted to go for snacks.
Like, hey, it's still a little bit early. It's just dark, but hey, it's still some time. We can. This place closes at 9, so we can go there until
And at
9.
this point, we were just feeling like, okay, this is like the last of the last. We might as well
Yeah,
make it worth it since the loves of our lives are apparently never going to.
to
Yep.
happen. So yeah, we went to Fox Meadows that closed, which that time was closing at 9, and
We got snacks.
yeah, we got snacks. We went inside, talked for a little bit. 9 o'clock came, and we went outside, sat outside for a little bit more, and I think by
That's when I found out that this guy likes rap music, and I was just like, well, I'm apparently making the right decision. Because we were okay, so this is
we were
like minutes
sharing
away
music.
from apparently never going to see each other again, and we start talking about music.
It's like,
And
"Ew."
to me, like all rap music is like, no, I did not know there was anything like actual rap music that had okay lyrics. It turns out there is, and
Mhm.
that, yeah, this
Oh, you're gonna get people very angry. Like, what? She's agreeing to rap music?
personally,
My,
I still don't like rap music for
yeah,
the most part. There's an
you
artist here or there
definitely
that's
don't.
okay.
I know. Yeah, I can see that. And I
But
don't listen to it all the time. But I just wanna clarify something real quick here. Rap is means basically talking instead of getting your beautiful voice out. So when you say rap is horrible, be careful what you're saying because it could still be a glorifying song, saying all kinds of beautiful things. The whole Psalms back to God, and you're saying like, "Oh, this is demonic" or whatever. Don't say that, please. There are musical and some tunes that, yeah, I know they can cause you to feel this or that way, but for the most part, Christian rap lyrics are extremely beautiful. The ones that are beautiful, the ones that are dedicated to God. And I listen to some sometimes. As a musical guy that was created with, was raised with all kinds of music. And the lady here is waking up. She probably is tired from being in that position for too long. But yeah, we talk about music, and I was listening to yours. We started exchanging all kinds of links, even though we were never gonna see each other again.
I wouldn't take a half of the heart, but I'll send you a link
Yeah,
and I'll listen to rap.
yeah, to that one song that you listened, which was actually just,
Barely even was rap.
yeah, it was just it wasn't, didn't have much lyric. It didn't have lyrics. It's just what's it called, the music. But anyways, so we exchanging links and links and links. I was like,
And it's
wow,
getting later and
yeah.
later.
And so yeah, the time came where I walked you to the car. We said goodbye.
This was like a grand send off.
Yes. We said goodbye, and yeah, still polite to the car. I opened the door, and and yeah, we said never again. What did we do? We didn't delete our contacts. We just say hey. So
Yeah, like this. We didn't delete the contacts.
yeah,
That's a pretty key
obviously,
part of the story. But yeah, it's like, okay, this is over. Good to know you. Thanks for being my friend. Like, this was good. And we both left happy because we
yeah,
had a great time. And it was good.
it was good until the next,
Day.
probably the same. Yeah, I think I slept good that time, but the next day, or was it? I forget. I know that. How did it? I think it was that time. Yes, I remember crying my heart out because how was it? Yes, I felt in my heart. I felt like the reason why I wasn't going to have an opportunity to be with her is because of other people. I could tell very clearly that she really liked me and wanted to be with me, and I'm losing her because of others. So
Like, not because of God. At no time had he felt confirmation from God that this wasn't supposed to happen.
yeah.
And I had not either. Also, I was very new in my journey of learning to listen to God, like actually asking God and waiting for an answer. I based my decisions still almost entirely off of other people. And I didn't believe that I actually could make safe decisions for me, that I needed other people to tell me. So that was just a huge lesson that God taught me through our relationship, was that I am an adult. I have a voice. I can think and I can make decisions. And also, he taught me how to listen to him, to his spirit speaking in my heart, and to trust my instincts.
Mm-hmm.
And if I had had that security and assurance at that point, I would have moved ahead with the relationship. But yeah, at this point, I
Yeah.
wasn't ready.
But everything happened for a reason. It
Yes.
was definitely good that you talked to your parents and you talked to your spiritual dad, and it was just, yeah, everything was leading to one thing, to the next thing, and but yeah, I remember crying like and begging God, like, God, please don't let me feel bitterness for any of these people. Um, I want to be free from hard feelings to anybody. Just please, guard my heart from that, from bitterness. Um, and He was very faithful. We have made, yeah, we have good communicate or connection or communication with all these people that were. You hear more about other people that got in the way too, and made it pretty impossible.
So at this point, everything's off, right?
Yeah.
And we're both deeply grieving what we thought was going to be. And I'm feeling very dumb for doing so, because I'm like, I didn't even know this guy, but
Mm,
this is just, yeah, it's
yeah.
real, most real thing. And
Yes,
so,
and I'm working at a place that it's not a physical job that I can just move and distract my mind. It was just there in front of a computer, just thinking of this woman all the time, and I'm like, oh, this is hard.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
no, 2 weeks. Yeah,
we
no,
had agreed that we're not going to communicate, right?
yeah,
Like, no,
no.
we're not texting.
Oh yeah, I remember what happened in these 2 weeks. Yeah,
When two desperate hearts want
yeah.
to be together, it's really hard to keep them apart.
So, you guys know that WhatsApp has statuses that you can post stuff and people can see that, right?
And they also have profiles
They also
where
have
you can add a little
description.
description.
Yeah. So we were
I
like,
think, didn't we have our statuses blocked?
yeah. So our statuses were not,
Our
yeah.
statuses were, I blocked your status. I was good.
Yeah, right. I think I did the same comment. This is hard. I
Yeah.
cannot be watching her statuses. Like, I'm too much like into her. Like, no, this is not working. I'm stalking her. Um,
So we,
we block our statuses, so whatever I post, she cannot see, except for descriptions. So
the description in the profile.
yeah, I'll probably put that in the video too, so people can see what we're talking
We're
about.
probably the first people in the world to use profile descriptions as a way to communicate.
Yeah,
Because it's something the whole world can see. And also, it's like a profile description. Like, that
yeah.
is lame.
It was we designed our own Morse code communicate.
Yeah, you use emojis, you
Right.
use Bible verses. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's amazing how quickly you can formulate your own language when you
No
want to
kid.
communicate and you don't want anybody else to know what you're saying.
No kidding. Oh man. But it was. So how did it happen? I think by the third day, we could tell like we both were like, wait, this is very direct. Like, and it was quotes, but it was and in Bible verses sometimes, but it was things that you can tell like, oh, I'm hurting, or like I'm hopeful, or like I don't forget what else would you say. Yeah.
Well, we wouldn't actually say that, but we'd use emojis to like communicate the thought um,
Yeah, because another thing is you can only
in
put,
Bible verses.
yeah, you can only write like 3 sentences. I would say,
Yeah,
yeah, you can
you're
have,
limited in how many
yeah,
words you can use.
characters. Yeah,
Yeah.
But that
And
was
so,
just
like, how creepy is that to literally like be going and clicking on somebody's profile so you can see the description like every 5 minutes of every day?
yeah. Every day I would like see and like, oh, it changed. It says something different, and I would screenshot it. And
We got history
yeah, we do.
of all of this documentation.
No kidding.
So this goes on for like 15 days or so,
2 weeks. Yes, we were no contact, no. Does she breathe?
except for WhatsApp
Yeah.
descriptions.
Yep. We knew that the other person was still alive by reading those things for sure.
It was nice to know.
Yeah, he was because I wanted to.
And his route home corresponded with my route home from the place I was working and the place he was working. So, like, not every day, but often, like, I always had my eyes peeled for his Nissan. And at that
and
point, I was driving a VW Golf.
and I was always like every that's her, that's her, that. I was like no. And I think at one point actually I think we met, and the next time we met was on a Friday 2 weeks after that. So it was like 2 weeks in one day. But I saw you, we saw each other a day before that or 2 days.
It wasn't long before that.
Yeah.
We passed each other on the road. He recognized my car and he like rolls down his window and like,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, you know, like I'm not even supposed to be waving at you.
No, you weren't like
Just
this.
a little tiny wave.
Yeah. And
But then it was like, I saw him. He
yes.
exists. He waved at me.
Yep. That was the
But
most.
no strings attached.
Yeah. No, because we had to be polite. We can still say hi if we see each other. So we were begging God to let us go to same places where.
I think you were begging God because I don't think I was.
Right. But yeah, so I think it was Tuesday that week that we saw each other. I was like, man, that was awesome. And it was literally what, 3 seconds. But yeah, we saw each other, and then
So there's this Bible school that's having a closing
a
program.
church. Oh yeah, Bible school, the out of
Yeah.
church, yeah.
And I had friends that were going to be there. And I knew that Juan might be there, but I didn't know.
Mhm.
So, I just dress cute and and go to this program. But no, I was when I was going there, like I had purpose in my heart that maybe you would be there, maybe we would see each other, but that was where it was going to stop. Like we had no strings attached. That was like my mantra, no strings attached. So I get there late, like I always do. And there he is. And I just like walk straight to where I'm going to sit. And I do not look to the sides. Did you see me when I walked in?
I think so, yes. So that was right at the last day, the last service of that Bible school. And at that point I had a friend from out of the country that was staying with me.
And as I recall, you had asked that friend to drive separately.
I did. I was going to say that. Yes.
So somebody was scheming.
I'm not hiding. So, of course, at this point, I was hoping that she was going to be there because she loves singing and she knew people, and I knew that she knew people from here, and I'm like, she's going to be there. And thank God she was there.
15 minutes late, probably like the last time.
Yeah, actually, something about that time. And so I told my friend, like, hey, this is singing. You should go. Like, oh yeah, I would like to go. I'm like, but it would be nice if we drive separate. And this is a guy from out of the country that I'm asking him to use his own car. I'm like, wow, that's not polite. But I'm like, hey, listen, my future is on the line here. Like, I didn't say that, but so yeah, I told him that I was interested in somebody, and I'm hoping, and I'm thinking, that I'm imagining, and all this thing that. He was, oh yeah, that's fine. I'll do that. So we drove separate, and
So,
yeah, go ahead.
what, were you done?
No, we drove separate. We got there. I'm like looking around. She's like, oh man, she's not. I was just dreaming, but I did not see her anywhere around. So I was like, well, at least I'll enjoy the singing now. And once again, sometimes later, she gets in, and I'm like, oh, yes, beautiful.
So I sat the whole way at the back, like the very back chair, the backest back of the chair. And
so you can stare at me.
Yes, no, because that was a place to sit. But yes, I could stare at you, and you couldn't stare at me. But believe me, I stared at you. But then,
I got up in the middle of the
yes, and
service.
you walk right past my chair, and I very carefully do not look at you or acknowledge that you were there.
Hmm.
And you were out for ages. It's like, well, this guy has digestive issues. Finally, towards the end of the service, he comes back in, and like the whole time I'm wondering, what is he up to? Turns out he came prepared. He went out in the, I mean, no, you tell it, babe.
I went out to put a gift card in with a little small note on her car, and I'm like, "Where is this golf? Where is this golf?" And of course, there's
The
a lot
very
of
last car in the
a lot of
park.
people, and looking and looking. I'm like, "Where is it?" And then I finally found it, and I'm trying to open it to drop the card in there, and it's like, "Nope, it's locked." I'm like, "Okay, so maybe I can put on the visor." Like, no, somebody's gonna see it later and wonder or some whatever. So maybe I can put it here, there. I think I ended up putting it on the handle because it was a little dark, so where she was parked. So I put it on the handle and went back in, sat down, and the service was done at some point. And
And after the service, I kind of start talking to my mutual friend, and I think
I
you
came
kind
to
of started
you,
talking to our mutual friend as well. Is
and
our
I came to you and say hi and how you doing, and I said, yeah, I think we talked somehow between all three, and um we were walking out, and hey, what are you gonna do? Um, there's this place that closed that's still open. It's 8:30 or 9 when the service was over, right? I think it was done by like 8:30, and people talking and everything's like 9 o'clock. I was like, we have 2 hours. Would you like to go
out for snacks.
out for snack and talk? Um, I don't know what the whole purpose of talking was, and but it was some sort of a obliviousness, like blindness, or like we were in the clouds. I don't know, but we both felt it was just so normal and beautiful and okay, and just like we
If,
can go out and talk. Like we are not
well, it
enemies.
had been 15 days of just so much agony.
Agony, yes, and I think it was obvious by the status that we loved each other like crazy by then still. So we like, I'm gonna ask her out. Like, sure, we're gonna go talk, and everything, one thing falling for the other, and like after the other in place. I was like, yes, and she said, Juan, and then she's like, I guess, sure.
I was trying to be good.
She's like, but we're not. Why we don't? And then I guess sure, and I was like, just fine, just they when they close, we go home, and I was going. Oh yeah, I opened the door on the passenger door of my car. Got you in the car and drove you like a few feet to the entrance of the church or the parking lot. And drove you to your car so that we can both go to the restaurant. So we might leave it there and cut it to second part because I thought I was like, oh yeah, we can talk real quick and do this in about an hour and finish it. She's like, I think it's gonna take at least 2 episodes, and sure enough, I see that happening because we're already at a little over an hour. So we shall close it at that. We got our first or second by then, well, I don't know, but punch in the guts at the restaurant by us just being us. Two people that clearly by then love each other dearly, and just felt like, man, we are definitely cut out for each other because we that reconnection made us. I don't know. It was just
That was this
amazing.
like confirmation that
Mhm.
even though the world says this is never supposed to work or never supposed to be, there's to us there. Yeah, we it was us against the world at that
Mhm.
point, um, and of necessity, even though that would not have been our desire.
Mhm.
And hopefully, in the next episode, we can go into a little bit of the dynamics that happen in a relationship when you're forced on an island by
Mhm.
yourselves.
Right.
Because I know that has happened to other couples too, and it is very damaging.
Yeah.
And so hopefully our story can raise awareness for The other, specifically cross cultural relationships in the Mennonite culture, that have experienced the fire that we went through.
Mm-hmm.
I have had since we dated and got married, I had so many individuals reach out to me. Um, Most of them white Mennonite girls
Mm-hmm.
married to brown guys from some other culture, and it's crazy how many of us experienced family and church rejection, excommunication, whatever it all was, ended up having severe health crashes, which my story's coming. I had one of those too. Took me a while to recover from. And just, yeah, the rejection that they experienced, and also the struggle that they had to have a healthy relationship because of it. So, yeah, we'll get into that a little more in the
Mm-hmm.
next episode.
Yeah.
And we're not going to be quite as detailed, I don't think, in because
Yes.
if we spend
This much in this.
this much time on every day,
Yeah, I know.
it's gonna
That's what I
get
was
long.
thinking.
But the how we started was just very crazy and amazing,
Mm-hmm. I
and
mean, I mean,
it's worth sharing the details.
yeah, for sure. And like she said, I did not hear from God saying like this is not supposed to happen. She did not hear it too. So we were just always fighting and just until God says no, I don't see why this cannot happen. And my thing that I always think and say is like, if you're a Christian and the other person is a Christian, literally that's all. That's the main foundation of course, that if you have that in common, that you can go against anything else. I feel like an Amish can date um a Mennonite or whatever. God is doing His thing, and we cannot put Him in a box. And that's how I see it.
We're
People.
one blood.
Yeah. But it was really disturbing to see how, wow, now I'm being looked at a weird guy because I'm finally probably ending up with somebody that's from the culture. Like, no, no, you how dare you think that you're able to do this? Kind of, yeah. But anyways, God did His thing, and we have a little. Oh my goodness, she's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Do you want to say something else? Or?
I don't think
No.
so.
Okay. I
I'm
always ask.
excited to get into part two, because at this point where we're leaving you is at a very fragile part of our relationship. I'm still not dating this guy. Like, I can't date him. He
Mm-hmm.
still wants to. Neither of us are hearing from God that this is not something that we are not supposed to do. In fact, it's overwhelmingly the opposite way. But so many people that we love and trust are telling us something different. And so the internal conflict is intense.
Mm-hmm.
So wait and see how God takes it from here.
Sure thing. You will definitely enjoy the rest, and we will try to do a better job at doing it quicker.
Efficiency.
Yes. But we want to. You probably ask why would we do this, but we want to encourage others again, not to just jump off of a cliff and like, oh, we're doing this and whatever. If you hear from God, like, go for it. Don't, not blindly, of course. Our story is gonna show you that it was definitely step by step, but um go for it. God is good. He doesn't fit in our boxes, and He wants to show the world over and over that, hey, I do things that you could never imagine are possible. This is who I am, all powerful, all knowing, and very loving, very gracious, and just.
I am the Lord. Is anything too hard for me?
Yeah, exactly, right? Thanks again. Keep us in prayers and many blessings. Adios. Now I know in part, then I will know fully, even as I have been fully known. Now abide faith, hope, and love. These three. The greatest of these is love.